Everybody thinks Supreme started streetwear. Maybe BAPE, maybe Stussy if they done a little homework. But they're wrong, dead wrong, because none of them came first. And what I'm about to show you changes everything you thought you knew. This brand didn't just inspire streetwear, it was streetwear. It built the entire playbook, and then the culture robbed them. While everyone else took the credit, they stayed silent and kept building anyway. 1991, 3 guys opened up a shop on Vermont Avenue, Los Angeles. No marketing strategy, no hype drops. They weren't chasing trends, they were dressing their crew. Your first 100 customers aren't strangers, they're people around you. If they don't wear your gear proudly, your brand's already dead. Now picture the scene: graffiti on walls, BC Boys on blast, skaters, punks, artists, and outcasts all pulling up. The brand XLarge. Before Supreme, before BAPE, before the word streetwear meant anything, XLarge was already living it. Not to sell a product, to build a scene. XLarge didn't sell by selling clothes. They started by building gravity. The store was the distribution. If your brand doesn't attract people before the product drop, hint word before, you don't have demand, you have inventory. Skate, hip-hop, punk, graffiti mashed into one cultural space. The kind of brand you felt before you ever saw a logo. And here's the wildest part: nobody gave them credit. Alright, let's drop the receipts. XLarge started in 1991. BAPE started in 1993. Supreme started in 1994. So how did BAPE and Supreme become global legends while XLarge got buried? Because that's the real question. Here's a story no blog wants to tell you.
One of the beginnings was my brother and I, Eli, who you met earlier. We started making spray painting t-shirts in 1985. We didn't sell many, but we basically designed our own t-shirts way before the boom started, way before streetwear was really much of anything. And then, so XLarge started when, at that store over there, when my brother and Adam decided to sell clothes.
Ask yourself, if someone's watching your brand today, are they taking notes? Are you saying something worth stealing? Because your brand identity is not what you post, it's what other people try to copy. Let's be honest, BAPE didn't invent the sauce. They just ran with the recipe. A recipe cooked up in a dusty LA shop. XLarge didn't drop press releases. They dropped culture, and the entire industry ate off their plate.
The street thing hadn't hit yet. It was more workwear, which was clothes that people like post office guys would wear at work, and it became kind of a fad. When we opened our store, the whole thing blew up at the exact same time with the big pants and the baggy shirts and the graffiti t-shirts and all that stuff.
New York was about to flip the script. Supreme launched in '94, and New York City did what New York City always does. Made it colder, more clean, and calculated. LA gave you freedom. New York City gave you the formula. Are you building for authenticity or for scale? XLarge went deep. Supreme went wide. BAPE went global. And XLarge, they got buried in the noise of logos, collabs, and hype. Not because they failed, because they refused to fake it. They didn't throw launch parties. They didn't use too many cosigns, but if you knew, you knew. Beastie Boys wore their gear. Spike Jonze early on shot their films, and Chloe modeled for X-Girl, which was like a sub-niche of theirs. They were everywhere in a way without ever shouting. The store, it wasn't a shop, but it was a hangout, a nerve center, a scene. If your brand doesn't give people somewhere to show up, online or offline, you're not building culture. You're just printing t-shirts. They didn't change consumers. They attracted contributors. They weren't gaming algorithms. They were building ecosystems. And that feeling, that do-it-yourself, unfiltered raw energy, it's what most brands try to fake today. They never went viral, but they never vanished either. And that's what I'm trying to get you guys to understand. While other brands disappear after one hot drop, XLarge kept going quietly, consistently. They didn't wait for New York City to notice them. They built from their own backyard. And when Japan came knocking, they didn't sell out. They leveled up. They collaborated with manga artists and tapped into anime years before it was mainstream in America. They didn't just chase waves, they reinvented before they had to. Real quick, if your brand's solid but people still ain't really seeing it like they should, whether it's between drops, after drops, or when you're just trying to stay in motion, we need to talk. We help brands brand stay visible, get talked about, and build reputation the right way through people, not algorithms. I call it community strategy meets execution. We find the right people for your brand, show up where they're at, and make sure they see you, not just once, not just for a post, but consistently. So when it's time for a pop-up shop or drop, your name's already familiar. More eyes, more conversations, more recognition. That's how you build momentum. That's what we do. We're only taking on 4 brands per quarter. If you're serious about getting seen, tap the link below and apply for the waiting list today.
This thing started with the prison people, you know. It started at South Central, and a lot of the trendier kids ripped it off. You know, I'm gonna do it. There wasn't really graffiti t-shirts and big pants. They were mostly in the prisons where it started. It started in the prison, you know. When guys on the outside like to wear pleated pants, let's say, for example. They have a pleat, like these have a pleat. In prison, they had jeans. So what they do is they get a big pants and they fold it, right? They actually fold the pant in 3 places to make a pleat. So the look was, hey, I want to look cool. How do I look like a guy in prison on the street? So they started buying big pants, you know? And we used to sell size 50 pants to a little guy about this big, you know?
Here's what XLarge got right. They didn't just reinvent for the sake of it. They kept a culture format, raw, local, do-it-yourself, that made every drop feel new, but always familiar. Smart brands don't just drop product. They drop patterns because people can come back to them. A brand without reinvention is a product line on life support. If your brand can't tell me why it will exist 5 years from now, then most likely you've already peaked. Here's your cheat code. You don't need to go viral. You need motion. You need evolution. You need to matter to the people right in front of you. Because the brands that last don't start loud. They just never stop. So don't ever let a flop, or maybe if you're taking long to get awareness, discourage you. If you're building your own streetwear brand, especially if you're outside the big major cities, you know I'm talking about LA, New York, Miami, overseas, you might feel like the game isn't built for you. But here's the truth. XLarge proves that you don't need a hype machine, especially inside this digital world that we live in today with social media. You need roots, truth, and most importantly, you need a reason your people care. You don't need resale hype or influencers, but you need a new perspective. You need a crew that's like-minded individuals to mess with what you mess with, to rock with what you rock with. You need to mean something to someone. That's what built streetwear in the first place. Community aspect. It wasn't logos, nor was it drops. It was culture. So if you're out here trying to build something timeless, remember this. XLarge did it first. They just didn't wait around for the credit. They didn't build for the mainstream. They built within the subculture and became undeniable to it. Most brands try to be everything to everyone, but the brands that last, they own a corner, then expand from there. Remember, you do not need the whole block. If this opened up your eyes and you're not just chasing clout, but trying to build something real, hit that subscribe button. And again, sign up for our waitlist for the community strategy service. And also the next video, we're breaking down the brands that didn't just follow the wave, they became it. And I'm pretty sure yours could be coming too. Alright y'all, this is Lee from North Studios. Till next time, I'm out of here.